Now 7 o'clock and this meeting will be called to order. And I will read the virtual format instructions. Pursuant to Governor Baker's March 12, 2020 order, suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, G 30A, Chapter 18, and the Governor's March 15, 2020 order, imposing strict limitations on the number of people that may gather in one place. This meeting of the Finance Committee is being conducted via remote participation. No in-person attendance of members of the public will be permitted, but every effort will be made to ensure that the public can adequately access the proceedings in real time via technological means. Members of the public who would like to participate in the meeting via Zoom can do so by clicking on the link in the middle of the page. Members of the public who would like to listen to this meeting while in progress may also do so via telephone by dialing 1-646-558-8656 and enter meeting ID 857-3371-5193. Then press pound and press pound again at the next voice prompt. Members of the public attending this portion of the hearing designated for public comment, members of the public attending this meeting virtually will be allowed to make comments if they wish to do so during the portion of the hearing designated for public comment by following the steps previously noted, then press *9 on their telephone keypad or using the raise hand function on Zoom. This will notify the meeting host that the caller wishes to speak. In the event that despite our best efforts, we are not able to provide for real-time access, we will post a record of this meeting on the town's website as soon as we are able. And now I would like to take roll call. Doherty is excused. Manganelli is present.
Mary Gletzel, present.
Okay.
John Dugas, present.
Kevin Stokes, present.
Okay.
Bernie Nally, present.
Michelle Kincaid, present.
Lee Martinson's here.
Hi, Lee.
Hey. Won't be here long, but I'm here.
All right, so tonight's budget hearing is with the Department of Public Works. And, I'd like to welcome Mike Woods and Jamie McGaldy and Joe Lobito. So if you'd like to get started, Mike.
All righty, nice to see you all again for our annual meeting. Just like to tell you a little bit about Public Works. The Wilmington Department of Public Works consists of 6 divisions that are responsible for the design, operation, maintenance, and inspection of the town's infrastructure and roadways, sidewalks, town parking lots, water supply and distribution system, drainage system, sanitary sewer system, trees, parks, municipal and school grounds, the wildwood cemetery, and the yard waste recycling center. The department also manages residential and town buildings, trash and recycle collection disposal program, and the maintenance of the town vehicles and construction vehicles, and the construction oversight of all the town's permitted construction. So, got quite a few people. We have a good sized budget, and we always appreciate you supporting it, and we try to do a good job for you. With that, a handout went out to you folks. I'm assuming you all have it. And I'm just going to basically read down through it. And what I'm going to do is just take the budget as Jeff had presented it and just go through where the changes are and why. So for fiscal year 2022, Public Works, the non-water and sewer budget was prepared to maintain a level of service that the residents of Wilmington have grown accustomed to while being fiscally aware in economic times, especially as it's related to COVID. Department budget requests to satisfy 2 goals: to prepare a budget that maintains or improves upon current services amidst the challenges presented by COVID-19 without increasing the overall increase of 1%. And also begin to increase public awareness of Works role as a first responder and third arm of public safety. We've been really trying to push that over the last few years. Jamie's done a lot of work with it, and you know, the police and fire can't get down the roads if we don't take care of them, provide the water and all those sorts of things. So we all work together, and it's a great team for all three departments, really. So with that, personal services, this year we have a change of 1/10% of $4,954. That was due to some resignations and retirements in tree division and in engineering division. And we had some negatives with salary step increases. This does not include the COLA that I believe Jeff negotiated with the unions of 1.5%. Contractual services. We're looking for $2,858,870. It's a reduction of $182,787 from last year. That's 6%. Contractual services essential level funded for FY21 to 22, with the exception being rubbish and disposal collection, and also public street lights, which will show an overall savings. Overall, the contractual services, rubbish and disposal exists in the town. Enters our second year of our 5-year contract with our new contractor, and also our second year agreement with Wheelabrator in North Andover, who we've been dealing with now for, I think this is what, 22 years or 27 years. But the town will experience a 7% increase. I'm sorry, let me try that one more time. 7% decrease in the overall rubber collection line item as a result of three things. First, the cart amortization. We still owe for the carts that we purchased under the 10-year contract with the previous contractor. We're looking to pay that off with this next fiscal year. I'll make a comment on that in a moment. Also part of this contract with the new contractor, we had to rent trucks until they could purchase them. We have gotten 2 of those trucks this month, and we expect the last truck before the start of FY22. Also, a total of $20,000 has been added to the cart replacement program. That'll bring the total of that line item to $40,000 to offset the costs for carts. We're running out of a Mass DEP grant that we've been using to subsidize carts, and also seen a large increase in both trash and recycling barrels being requested. A lot of people home, the families are home, kids out in school, people are generating more trash and hopefully more recycling. So we are seeing a large demand there. Also, the comment I just wanted to make with trash is that we do have a capital item for $105,000. I'm sorry, a capital item to pay off the barrels and the amortization of the next 4 years, I believe it was. Which, if that does not pass, we would have to add $105,237 to make that annual payment for FY22. Any question on that? That was sort of a lot of jumping around there with trash. Okay, we also had a modest increase in the proposed tree contractual services. We just seem to be having more and more tree work. We're getting these conservation subdivisions. With that keeps a lot of trees, but the trees are disturbed with the construction, what have you, and then they end up coming down, and a lot of them are large, and now there's a house here, so we need to hire a crane. It's about $2,000 a day, so we're looking for a little more to cover that cost. And also we made some substantial savings with Reading Municipal Light after they're changing out all the street lights to LED. Even with the 5% energy charge increase this year from them, will still be showing a significant decrease. Materials and supplies, we're looking for $891,558 this year. That's $2,853 less than last year, about 0.3%. There's been a slight reduction in gas, oil, and tires because everything seems to be trending down, especially not so much on the tires, but on the fuel and diesel fuel. Also, we had less motor vehicle use in all departments due to COVID, but we based this amount on a 10-year rolling average, and it's been trending downward, plus the change out of the police cruisers and town vehicles from Crown Vics, which used to get about 11 miles to the gallon, to the Ford Explorers, which are getting with department head use, that they're running around 18 to 20 miles to the gallon. With police use, is getting about 15, 16 miles to the gallon. With that, I'd like to talk about furnishings and equipment. So we're asking for $64,600 this year, which is a $14,300 increase. We have 7 items that we're looking for. Those would be a partial replacement of chain link fence at the Butler School. We did it the first phase last year. We'd like to do finish it up this year, and that'd be $13,300. We need a new line painter to paint, the parking lots and what have you in town. Some of the roadways. For cost of that, it's $4,700. We'd like to purchase an electric sign board. We have one. The police have one, but we've just found that we're using them all the time. Not just those 2 departments, but everything from COVID, where the town meeting is going to be, the various festivities and things that go on in town, even DPW, looking for plow contractors. We were using it for that. A lot of times one of the signs will go down. We don't have another one. A lot of times we need 3, maybe 4. Very expensive to rent. So we'd like to purchase the sign and pay for itself in a short amount of time. We're also looking for a commercial leaf vacuum. This is for parks and grounds, like it says, to take care of leaves that fall. Seems like spring, summer, and fall, but that's $11,500. We want to replace the motor oil storage tank in the DPW. Currently, it's an old tank that's been in there. It's similar to your tank that anybody that has oil heat in their home. It's really not adequate. Doesn't have containment, so for spills and that type of thing. So before we have problems, we'd like to get that replaced at a cost of $4,000. We're looking to replace our old stump grinder for one that attaches to a Bobcat skid steer. That would be $10,300. Far more efficient and safer, quicker. So that would be a great benefit to the department. And the last item would be a sod cutter. And this is, we've got a lot of nice turf in town now when you see around the fields, and a lot of times we have to take it out to do something underneath, with piping, or maybe move turf from one spot to another spot. This machine actually cuts it so we can roll it up like sod you buy at Home Depot, and we can place that and save money on seeding and fertilizing and all that type of thing that goes on in these spots. And with minimal success, we'd have instant grass. Any questions on anything so far? Oh, let's move into capital outlay. Item number 1, we'd like to replace one of our heavy-duty one-ton dump trucks with plow, H5, requesting $85,000. The vehicle will replace the existing H5, which is a 2008 Ford F-350 dump truck with over 108,000 miles. This will be just in a series of when the vehicles are at their end of their life and they start costing us more money every year to run, the rust starts getting to them due to the salt and what have you, that we get it replaced so we have a reliable vehicle when needed. We're also looking for a heavy-duty rubber-tired excavator, H39. This will replace a 2000 Samsung rubber-tired excavator that we have. It's a piece of equipment, you know, they last 20, 25 years typically. We first purchased it way back then, first one for the department, and it is proved invaluable. We actually have two now, and we find in the summertime they get used, both of them get used just about every day for the various construction projects that we try to do in-house. We're looking for another heavy-duty sidewalk plow. We currently have two. These things are expensive. They break a fair amount, expensive to maintain, but we're adding sidewalks all the time. And when one sidewalk plow goes down, we have no backup. What we'd like to be able to do is have 3 sidewalk plows going out and plowing the town after a snowstorm such as this one. And then if we have one go down, we're back to the 2 that we've typically historically have been using. And it does take us a long time. And after the guys have worked 15, 20, 25, maybe 35 hours, like in something like today and yesterday, and now we can get out there and plow the sidewalks and a lot. The engineering department needs a new total workstation for $25,500. This will replace this workstation we have now. You know, they kind of went back from the old days where it took 3 men to do survey work. Then we moved to these new workstations. They work great. We bought this one probably 15 years ago, as my memory serves me correct. And just like all electronics, 15 years now, the thing's an antique. The units we can buy now only require 1 man to use them, so we can send. We only have 3 engineers, so we can send one out and do the survey, and have 2 other engineers to do all the other projects that they do. We're also looking for an asphalt hot box for $42,000. What this is basically a large steel box that is heated. When we go to pick up asphalt in the wintertime for patching, which is done 2 or 3 days every week during the wintertime, we'll be able to have hot mix. Currently, when we buy hot mix, we buy 3 times, we put it in the dump truck, we peel off when it gets to the job, we peel off the cold stuff, use the hot stuff that's in there. And by the time we get down to the bottom, well, that's cold. So all that cold stuff needs to go back to Benevento, and they charge us to take the cold stuff back, and then we got to get more hot stuff. And it's just a vicious cycle. This thing will pay for itself in a short amount of time with being able to buy more hot top, not run back and forth and keep it hot for the entire time and use it all. You're not just wasted. Something we had talked about earlier was the trash and recycling barrel loan payoff for $365,000. This pays off the rest of the debt that we'll have as of July, this coming July. Again, this will save us $47,000 of interest over the next 4 years. But if this does not pass the town meeting, we would need to increase the our operating budget to be able to pay that $104,000 plus charge to the bank for the barrels. The NIPT's general permit services for $50,000. We've been doing that every year. Not to go over this again, I think everybody here has heard this a few times now, where the EPA is now have the system called the NIPT's MS4. We got to maintain all of our storm drain systems to try not to pollute the waterways. It's a great program, but it is expensive, and there's a large amount of maintenance, laboratory costs for water sampling, and we also do a lot of it in-house with the engineering department and operations division, and we're finding it's about $50,000 a year cost at this time. Number 8, we're looking for a traffic signal camera detection at Salem Street, Route 62, and Woburn Street. This is similar to what we've been doing up and down Route 62 and all the way over to Chestnut Street, we put one in. We put one in on High Street, Concord Street. This will be another one. This keeps the traffic moving far quicker than what we had, 5 years ago. We see a vast improvement now on 62, and then this will just help because this is the last major intersection on the north side of Wilmington to take care of. Another intersection that we want to, we've been looking at, and what we'd like to start moving on it is the Shawshene Ave, Hoffman Street, Lake Street intersection. We plan on doing something like we did at the Concord Street, Concord Street Route 62 intersection with the black poles and cameras and that sort of thing, and just bring that intersection up to today's standards. So the design for that, working with our in-house engineers, would be $25,000. Also looking for $40,000 for the engineering design services to replace the existing Frank Kelly track at the Wilmington High School. The existing track was redone in 2004. It was overlaid in 2013. We have a section of it that's starting to come apart pretty good. I believe it's in the base of the track, down underneath the paved portion. So we want to have an engineer come in, do some coring, figure out what's going on, and rebuild that track and put it back to the way it looked when it was new. Looking for $15,000 for Face Cemetery development. This is for, we do most of the work in-house, and it could be anything from painting the lights, fixing the lights, pouring foundations for the new monuments, maintenance to the buildings, putting up fencing, just basically various aesthetic improvements in the area. I think we put in a granite bench at the Scattering Garden this year with some of that money, and it seems to work out pretty good. We're constantly getting requests for improvements at the cemetery as various people are down there visiting their loved ones and what have you. And last but not least would be reconstruction of the Shawshene tennis courts. We've been band-aiding them together for the last 20 years. They crack. The reconditioning lasts 2, maybe 3 years if we're lucky, and then the grass starts going up in them and the cracks start. I'm sure the base is not what it should be, and we've gotten the cost of $350,000 to reconstruct that, and it'll become 2 basketball courts and 2 tennis courts instead of the current setup. That summarizes the DPW, non-water and sewer.
Mike,
Just, all right, before you continue, Mike, do any of the members of the Finance Committee have a question?
Yes.
Mike, as far as the new sidewalk plow, how much do you think that's going to cut down on overtime for doing the sidewalks if you have another one?
It will not. We can have 2 vehicles out there for 5 hours, or we can have three vehicles out there for 2.5, 3 hours, whatever it ends up being. So it's really not going to save any overtime. It's just going to make us be able to get the job done quicker and have a backup unit for when one goes down, which happens, I don't want to say frequently, but more than it should. But it's just the nature of the beast. Those pieces of equipment are very delicate. It's all run by hydraulic pumps, and there's a lot of those pumps in there, and all it takes is just a minor problem, and it can quickly turn into a major problem that's very hard to fix, and takes a lot of time to fix them. So that is a problem. So that's why we're looking for that. And just, the towns historically had these 2 sidewalk plows. We've probably gained, I don't know, with the Route 38 project coming forward here probably next year, we've had to gain 12, 15 miles of sidewalks over the last few years with the addition of the Main Street project. Lowell Street, we just want to be able to get those done in a reasonable amount of time.
Just as a side note to that, does the town plow every sidewalk, or is it just sort of the main corridor parts?
Main corridor, the ones that, you know, get you to the schools and that type of thing. We don't do all the subdivisions. And
okay, maybe this is a question for Jeff, but is clearing sidewalks on the homeowner that is adjacent to the sidewalk, or are we sort of lawless and is really only tort law here?
Well, with respect to the businesses along Main Street, for example, there is, if I recall, a inhabitant bylaw that requires business owners to keep those areas clean. But as far as I know, with respect to residential areas, to the extent that there's a sidewalk in front of someone's home, I don't believe there's any requirement that they keep that clear.
Is that something we've ever sort of thought about? And I'm just thinking about this coming from Boston, where if you didn't clear your sidewalk out in 24 hours, you would sort of get hit with a massive fine here. And I think what Mike said is that basically the entire overtime balance is for moving the sidewalks. Have we ever thought about putting that onus on the homeowner and creating a fine system?
We have not. Yeah, I don't know. I suppose it would certainly help with the effort. Although, I think Mike may have mentioned we've got something in the order of 26 miles of sidewalks around town. It would probably help, but I'm not sure how popular that's going to be. Plus, the enforcement issue, I guess, becomes an issue we'd have to look at.
Yeah, it's probably not for this call, but I just think about we could Beacon Hill always hit John Kerry with $100,000 of fines a winter if we take away some of the overtime expense and shift that into a revenue item. It's something we could think about, but probably not for this audience.
I can tell you from experience in Cambridge, they're not easy to collect. I mean, we're not going to go after someone because they didn't pay their sidewalk, issues unless they get out of hand. And I think it probably wouldn't be easy for the town to kind of come down. Maybe on businesses is one thing, but on actual homeowners, because then you get into the point where you have elderly that can't go out, have difficulty going out to clear their sidewalks, and there's a whole, it's a pretty big thing to take on.
The other thing is, I'm thinking about it, and I'm sure if they're doing it in Boston, they've figured out how to deal with it. But one of the challenges, and Mike and I were talking about this earlier today, is as part of the snow removal process that'll be happening in the next few days, the cleanup, and we understand it's very frustrating for folks, and I've certainly been in that situation where you finally get to the end of the driveway and you think you're all clear, and then the plow comes by and pushes it back. Similarly with sidewalks, to the extent that people clear the sidewalks, and then like tomorrow, for example, if they're pushing back and trying to widen streets, and then all of a sudden the sidewalk that the resident just cleared all of a sudden becomes impassable again. Those are just the challenges of dealing with weather in New England, I guess.
That's fair.
A question for Mike. Of the 3 sidewalk plows we have, do we still have the a snow blower style, or have we done away with them?
Currently, we have 2 snow blowers, and they're a unit that you can either have a V plow put on it, or you can put a snow blower on it.
Okay.
So the V plow is far quicker, but a lot messier. So like in the case of this snow, we'll probably be doing sidewalks for the rest of this week. So people have their driveways all shoveled out, and we'll push the streets back, and they went out and shoveled them out again. Now we come blasting through with sidewalk plows with a V plow. now we fill the driveways in again. So what we do in a situation like this is we use the snow blowers and we blow the snow, and then we only have a few people complaining that we're putting snow in their yard, but at least it's not in the driveway.
Okay, I'm just kind of curious if they're functional.
Yeah, they're very functional, tough machines for either blowing or, plowing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Should we move on to water and sewer?
Sure. Okay, for the proposed fiscal year 2022 water and sewer budgets, they're created with the goal of providing Wilmington with clean, safe drinking water and sanitary sewer disposal services while minimizing the financial impact of the residents. Personnel services this year, again, same caveat, there's no COLAs or anything in here, but Jeff has probably already addressed that with you folks. The budget will be $10,075 less for personnel services, primarily due to the retirement of long-term employees and related personnel reassignments where the expensive folks leave essentially, and they come in at a lower rate. Contractual services, we had a 50% increase this year. We're going from $1,650,990 this year. Like I say, it's a $550,225 increase. That sounds horrible, but it's beyond our control. The MWRA assessment, which is based on how much water we used this past calendar year, we purchased over 250 million gallons. Again, due to COVID, we saw an astronomical spike in water usage. And then unfortunately, that coupled with the drought, which made it difficult for us to make as much water within the Wilmington system as we normally do, ended up having to actually over-purchase from MWRA, and that increase is all because of the MWRA. There was a decrease of $575 or 7.5% from the DEP assessment, which for every million gallons of water we put out, they charge us, I think it's $10.10 per million, somewhere thereabouts. And that is actually based on water from 2 years ago. So that's why that one went down. And next year that one will go up. And hopefully we can get the MWRA back down and get our supplies back up and running with all the rain we've had this winter so far. Material and supplies, we're looking for $638,017. It's an increase of $30,069 or 5%. There's a budget increase of $20,000 for facility and maintenance supplies to cover the increase in cost of disposal of the water treatment plant residuals. We have been taking them up to Merrimack, Mass for the last probably 10 years, and we had a great rate there. Now we'll have to go back to the public market, and we saw our price double over what we paid last year to get rid of those residuals. Also, there was a $10,000 increase in the chemical account. Chemical is one of those things I've watched over the last 30 years. Every year it goes up, it seems, a significant amount. This is actually tame for most years, but we're at the mercy. We go out to bid. We're in a consortium with about 100 other communities and water systems, and we get the best price we can. But again, they are expensive. The other charge within contractual service, I'm sorry, just misplaced my location here. Also, there was a slight increase of $69 for the vehicle maintenance and supplies. Again, that's just more due to the calculations of the 10-year average on fuel and oil and what have you. Moving to furniture and equipment, we're looking for $49,000 this year. It's a $500 decrease or 1%. We're looking to replace the Hillside Way tank mixer for $8,000. We're looking to get a Pro Press toolkit for $8,000. What that is that's the new way to put piping together instead of using solder, which was lead-based, and then they went without lead for a while, and soldering doesn't hold up quite as well. Now everything is pressed, and we want to use that tool in the treatment plants. We also need to replace the finished water pH meter. That's for $10,000 at the Butters Road Water Treatment Plant. We're looking to replace the tank level recorder for the ammonium sulfate for $15,000. We're looking for a trench box, which is just a metal box that we put in the ground to keep the men safe when they're down there fixing water mains. That'd be $4,000. And then also $4,000 for a walk behind saw. That's a saw that cuts the asphalt, the nice square patches or rectangular patches, so that we can do a nice neat job when we repair them. Capital outlay for water. Typical, I think we've done this for about 25 years now, $100,000 for in-house water main and infrastructure replacement. That's where we replace undersized pipe or old pipe into in-house crews. Great way to save money. If we had a longer construction season, we could really get a lot of work done, but you just don't in New England. We need to redevelop the Shaw Sheen Ave and Salem Street wells for $55,000. Basically, it's just cleaning them, but something has to be done every 2 to 3 years. Well, the Lowell Street, Woburn Street intersection project, we're hoping is going to go next year. It's on the Mass tip. We're looking to replace some old 10-inch cast iron with 12-inch ductile iron heading up Woburn Street towards Route 60 or towards the Woburn Street School from that intersection. So we've been working on bits and pieces of Woburn Street over the last dozen years, and this will just be another piece of it to do with that construction project. We also need to, EPA is requiring us to do a risk and resilience assessment and emergency response plan. That costs us $35,000. We also need to clean or redevelop the Browns Crossing well field. That'll be $130,000. We're also required by both the DEP and the MWRA to do a leak detection survey. We have to do that every other year. Price to do that is $20,000. Need to replace the rapid mixer at the Butters Road Water Treatment Plant for $25,000. It's 41 years old now, so it's we got our money's worth out of that one. We need to replace an electrical control panel at Butters Road Water Treatment Plant. The current one is corroded, extremely corroded, and is dangerous. Chemicals in there, and the moisture and dampness is just a bad environment. So we'll be putting in something that'll be far better than the one that's in there now, and be far more corrosion resistant. Also, the Hillside Way storage tank, we've got a lot of moss and lichen growing on it. It's $20,000 to get it clean. That'll help the coatings stay in good repair for a lot longer time. That is it for water. Do you want to take questions on water, or you want to go ahead and just do the sewer?
Does anybody have any questions?
Yeah, can I ask one question?
You have to identify yourself first.
I'm sorry?
Please identify yourself first.
Kevin Stokes. Mike, a question on the Lowell and Woburn sewer line. Is that contingent upon the tip activity, or is it in conjunction with that?
It's a water line, and it'd be done with the intersection project. So the state would bid, we would bid the project, and then we'd have a non-participating cost part of it, which would be water and anything else what we may want to do. with water is the only thing at the moment we're looking at. So it is on the tip for next fiscal year. We're hoping, you know, the state controls that, so we're hoping that it will happen, and we need to be ready and have the money available.
Gotcha. All right, thank you.
Any other questions? All right, so we can move to sewer.
Okay, sewer. Originally established in 1959, the sewer system includes 34 miles of main pipe, 11 pump stations, 1,753 service connections, and a septic receiving station. The wastewater is flowed to the MWRA sewer system and treated at Deer Island. Personnel services, we're looking for $86,591. That'll be a decrease of $11,663, 11.9%. That's just due to personnel changes. We'll be hiring a new person to take that position as soon as we start getting a little bit more relief from COVID. Materials and supplies, we're looking for $3,207,624, a decrease of $24,365 or 0.8%. With the exception of the MWRA sewer assessment, the largest expense with the sewer budget, all categories within material and supplies remain level funded. So in other words, that decrease was for the MWRA sewer assessment. For capital, we're looking for to relocate the electrical panel at the Main Street Sewer Pump Station, which is located at the plaza adjacent to Route 38 and that grass strip. Currently, the electrical panel is underground in a septic vault, if you will. It's severely corroded, so we want to bring it up on top so that we won't have those issues again and be back to working properly and safely, more importantly. That'd be $40,000. And we're also looking to replace one pump at the Shawshene Commons sewer pump station for $25,000. And that's it. There is 3 or 4 other pages that you have there in your folder. One, you know, just showing the fuel use in the town, some snow statistics, and also recycling statistics. If you have any questions on any of those, I'll be happy to answer them.
Anybody have any questions about that? Could I go back to Public Works for just a minute?
Sure.
So you had mentioned a campaign to increase public awareness of the third arm of public safety.
Oh, right.
Can you expand on that a little bit? What are your concerns and what are you going to, how are you going to approach this?
Actually, I'd love to pass that question to the operations manager, Jamie O'Gallagher.
Sure, Teresa. We've actually been doing this for about 2 years now. Most recently in the spring, we held a Public Works first responder awareness, kind of a team building exercise at our garage where we raised our Public Works first responder flag. And that's a flag that's recognized as the American Public Works Association as kind of a universal symbol for first responders. So we did that in conjunction with an appreciation ceremony put on by the Sons of Italy for our men to kind of bring to light the efforts that our guys are doing, especially during COVID and this past spring's COVID. You know, the utility work has to still get done. We don't really have the luxury of standing by and, you know, working from home all that often. So, you know, in the midst of COVID, we're still trying to get kind of the word out to the public that we are the third arm of public safety. And that's something that the American Public Works Association is working together statewide and actually countrywide. We just had an article published in APWA Reporter magazine last spring that went national. We're very proud of that and put Wilmington on the map as a first responder unit. So just the fact that we're having this discussion now is kind of one of the first steps in getting that out to the public. You know, this is televised on WCTV, so we're very proud of the fact that we work very closely with police and fire as the third arm of public safety, often forgotten about, but very, very critical. And so as part of our budget, you know, the items that we're asking for in furnishings and equipment and capital are items that coincide with our daily duties as first responders, such as the hot box. One of the features of the hot box in particular, it's a, as Mike explained, it's a metal box unit that's heated, but it's on a trailer, and it also comes with a couple sets of flashing lights on the back to, you know, let the public know that they're approaching a work crew. And in the last 10 years or so, we've made great efforts in making sure that our employees are safer than they used to be. You know, the world of public works is not what it used to be 30 years ago in the road. You'll notice all of our men have reflective gear on. We have hard hats when the job requires them in the field. And we're proud to be a member of the safety committee for the town to really, you know, again, you know, push not only to the public, but also to our employees, the importance of safety and our role as first responders.
Thank you. I totally agree that the service that you provide to our community is critical. I also think that, in my opinion, it's first rate. So, you know, I do remember the responder flag. I'm just not aware of any other campaign to the public to highlight the services that you provide, and that we don't really think about until they're not there. So I was just curious as to if you had a plan to pull the public into it so that they can start thinking about the role that you play.
Just to, Jeff has written about it in his Town Topics, and Jamie has written a number of pieces in various publications, and we've gotten some press on it with even the town crier. And we do fly, if anybody can see this, that's the flag that is flown at Public Works. And that's a national flag. It's used across the country.
Have you done any social media campaigns?
Could you identify yourself, please, Marianne?
Oh, sorry, Marianne Galezo. Have you done any social media campaigns on it?
Yeah, actually, the article that we wrote this past spring was also tweeted to the public. And, you know, that's one of the things that we're looking to do in the future. Maybe not the immediate future, but certainly the long-term future, the next 10 years or so. You know, we would like to make the public more aware of our importance, especially in roadside safety, because all too often we see, you know, we just don't get the respect that an ambulance might get going down the streets with their lights on. And I'm not saying motorists should pull over for public works vehicles, but a lot of times in traffic during a thunderstorm or a hurricane, you're in traffic because a mile up the road, there's a tree across a major artery. And, you know, our public works vehicles that might have flashes on, like a bucket truck, simply can't get through the traffic to clear that tree. And we're kind of at a stalemate. So those are the things that we'd like to bring to light to the public as part of, you know, moving forward in these next few years.
I mean, it's a relatively new program that the American Public Works has been pushing for. They started about 5 years ago or so, and I think really Wilmington is moving as quickly as anyone in the Northeast.
Great. Okay.
It's just not when we tweet it out or whatever. It's just not as exciting as police and fire.
All right, are there any other questions?
I just have a comment, Michelle Kincaid. I just want to let you know that it was a great effort today by your Public Works team this morning out there on Glen Road. It was very, very treacherous. And they did exactly what you said. One of the trucks was stuck in the middle of Glen Road and King Street. And immediately I pulled over as two of your other trucks came flying up with their lights on. to help him get that truck moving. And it took about, a good 10 minutes, but they worked hard to get it done. And the traffic was there, but people paid attention. So I give them a lot of kudos. I gave them the thumbs up.
Thank you, Michelle.
You're welcome.
All right, are there any public comments?
Currently do not have any callers on the line.
Okay. All right. Wonderful job, Mike. Thank you very much. And
thank you, Teresa.
Great presentation on the budget. I really like it, the way you present it. Thank you very much. Keep up the good work.
Thank you. We will.
Bernie, very thoughtful of you to arrange for that snowstorm last night just before you met with us.
Well, at least now with Zoom, we didn't have to cancel. I think we had to cancel a couple of them.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Due to snow.
Mary Angelez and Mike, I got a question for you. How's the recycling going with the new company?
Actually, very well. There's no surprises. It's all getting done. The company is very responsive. My biggest complaint is just that mainly was a commodity. Now it's more expensive to get rid of than trash, but it's just due to the world market, mainly to do with Asia. They don't want our trash anymore. So it's going to take a few years before we go back to maybe the better days where recycling goods are actually have a value.
Any other comments? Okay, well, thank you very much, Mike. Thank you, Jamie.
All right, thank you all.
Thank you, Joe.
Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Okay, so we do not have any minutes for tonight. I'm assuming Thursday, Chris?
Yes, I just wasn't happy with them, so I didn't want to submit them.
Okay.
I'll have them.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. Any other comments from anybody? No? Okay. If that's the case, then I'll accept a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Has a motion to adjourn.
I second. Michelle Kincaid.
Okay. All those in favor, please do the
Do we have to go roll call?
Okay, yes, I need a roll call. All right, John?
Yes.
Martinson? Lee? Lee?
Yes, I switched speaker, sorry. Yes.
Oh, okay. All right, Bernie?
Yes.
Kevin?
Yes.
And Manganelli, yes. Okay, then the meeting.
What about me?
And me.
You seconded it.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Oh. Sorry.
John always calls us.
You guys trying to trick me up here?
Yep.
Okay, well, if that's the case, then the meeting is adjourned. And
Thank you.
On Thursday.
Good night.
Thank you.
I'll see you Thursday.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Night.